Hi, everybody, wherever you may be, from coast to coast and sea to shining sea. Welcome back to the Shack. This is Ham Radio Live. I want to thank you so much for coming today. It's Sunday, beautiful day, kind of rainy in the Northwest, but I'm sure where it is, where you are, it's probably a little nicer. 13th day of June, 2021. I want to remind you also, Rob Sherwood will be live with us on Thursday. It's going to be a good show. That's going to come up at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time here in the United States. We look forward to you join us. Thank you so much. Wherever you're coming from around the world, it's truly an honor and privilege to see you today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Shack. It's good to see you. Happy Sunday, the 13th of June. Man, busy, very busy. Let me try and zoom out just a little bit. We'll show you. We told you a lot of stuff going on. See, it's just like gone. The whole second level is just gone now, so total redo of everything here. But, you know, it's great to see you. Happy Sunday. This was not a show that was planned, but I missed a couple of days this week, and it was like, you know what, I'd really like to say hello to everybody and do a short show. And after doing work in here, it has to be short, but I'm looking forward to saying hi. Hello, Andy, in the UK. It's great to see you always. Man, Nate, thank you. Hi, Andy. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here. Cliff Bolts is here from Virginia, Whiskey Delta 4, Oscar Bravo Papa. Hello, Cliff. Sean, my neighbor here in Oregon, Alpha India 7, Echo Quebec. Hello, Sean. And I hope the weather's drier on your side of the Cascades, man. It is bad here. It is just so bad. Oh, man. You know, it's one of those days that even an umbrella doesn't help you so much. Yeah, kind of one of those days. But, you know, hey, we could get through it, right? Just like I'm trying to find the stupid headphone jack to this headphone. There we go. Anyway, yeah, one of those days. But, yeah, we get through. Good to see you guys. Happy Sunday. I have a topic question for you today. Should be fun. But before we start, I really love to get people into amateur radio. And I have a great thing for you today. You're going to love this. You really will. The history of ham radio call signs here in the U.S. Now, I'm sorry for the folks, all my mates in the UK and down in Australia, that I don't have that for you, but I hope you find it interesting. I found it fascinating. This is a great video, and I really hope you enjoy it. I truly do. This is a truly special video, I think. Also, please don't forget Rob Sherwood, NC0B from Sherwood Engineering. He's coming live on Thursday to answer your questions about receivers. What receiver maybe you're interested in or that you like or don't like. Should be a really good show. So looking forward to having Rob here. If you'd like to get an amateur radio, we would love to have you join us. We truly would. This is a great hobby. You know, in my lifetime, I've been in professional radio. I've done collectible car appraisals, you know, done youth ministry. My favorite thing has always been radio. Since I first was a little kid, I fell in love with radio. If you would love to talk to people in different countries, to get to know people, to make communications, to see how far something you built can reach out in the world, it still exists. And it's wonderful. The best radios, the best transmitters, the very best transceivers. That's why we call them transceivers. They have a transmitter and receiver. And we really would love to have you join us. If you'd like to get in, any one of these radio organizations can help you. First of all, the American Radio Relay League. They're at www.arrl.org. Hit the Contact Us section, and they'll help you. If you're in Japan, please contact the Japan Amateur Radio League at www.jarl.org. If you're in in Great Britain, my mates in Great Britain, and ham radio has grown. Since the coronavirus, ham radio has really increased. A lot of new applications, tons of new licenses. Great work by the RSGB and Ofcom there. Keep up the good work. Radio Society of Great Britain would be your connection. Just hit the connection, the Contact Us button, you know, and then tell them where you are, and they'll hook you up with a local radio club. You can find them online at www.rsgb.org. If you're in Canada, and there's the new camera angle, there it is. That's kind of I don't know if we're going to really have the computer here, you know, where we're going to do the operating position or over there, but we're going to certainly be doing it from one of those two places. It's the first day we've actually been able to put the monitor here because this is where the radio used to be. So different location. Anyway, Radio Amateurs of Canada can be found at www.rac.ca. Find them there on the internet. Click down on the Contact Us section of their page, and they'll help you, I promise. Okay. Next up is the mates in Australia have a great group down there. They're called the Wireless Institute of Australia. Find them, please, at www.wia.org. If you'd like to email the show, we'd love to correspond with you. I know I would enjoy that. If you have a question, a comment, maybe a show suggestion for a guest, or you'd like information about a certain product. Man, I've been blessed to have a lot of transceivers here that we've shown on the channel, and I'd love to share whatever I've done with you. Please contact me online at hamradiolive@gmail.com. Welcome to the show. It's good to see you. Happy Sunday, the 13th of June, everybody, wherever you may be. My brother Cain. Hi, Bob. It's good to see you, bud. It's good to see you, brother. Yeah, every time I get a chance to see that name pop up, it means a lot. My brother has cancer. He came down with it. We found out in 2011. By that point, it was really bad. And they gave him a 40% chance to live 5 years. And by the grace of God, my brother's still here. And the greatest thing, the best thing I've ever done my whole life was to take care of my brother. It really was. I've gotten so much more out of taking care of him than he has the other way around. He's my best friend. Bob, it's truly an honor to have you here today. Thank you. Gunther is here. Oh my gosh, all the way in the German frontier. Play the music. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in from the German frontier near the shores of the Rhine River, his name is Gunther. He works for DX. His call sign is Delta Kilo 5 Oscar November Victor. Find him on a DX frequency near you, especially on 20 and 40. He's great at it. Gunther, welcome to the show. It's always a pleasure to have you come join us whenever you can. Thanks for being here, buddy. Yeah, appreciate you very much. It's a neat show. I hope you like it. It's kind of one of those ones that is, it was just, this is just from the heart, to be honest with you, because this was a lot. This was hard to do. And my body's killing me from this. And there's some, I don't want to get into it. Anyway, it was tough. So I'm grateful to be here, and I'm thankful to take the time to spend with you today. Hi, Sean. He's going to be a ham radio operator. Sean is here. And Sean, we're excited to have you today. Thanks for coming today, pal. You're going to like this show, Sean. You will. This is cool. It's the history of ham radio call signs here in the U.S. Back in the early days, people gave themselves call signs, just like they do on CB right now. But in the early days of ham radio, we know them as amateur radio, they gave their own call signs. They could, like number 6 or, could be, their initials, whatever. But that's what they used to do. And then things changed as time went on. So Joe McConney is here. Alpha Golf 7 X-Ray Hotel from the state of Washington. Hello, Joe. Thanks for coming. Also, thank you, Gunter. You treat me too kindly. Gunter also has a very good YouTube channel. Find his DX work here on YouTube. Find him at DK5ONV. Let's take a look at some news. Ham Radio, first volunteers are sought for the 100th anniversary station. It celebrates the 100th anniversary of a two-way QSO across the Atlantic. Took place on the 12th of December of 1921. The American Radio Relay League have joined with a group of UK operators who plan to recreate the event in December of this year. Now, to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Paul Godley, his call sign, 2 Zulu Echoes, successful QSO across the Atlantic, in collaboration with the North Ayrshire Council, special event stations, Golf Bravo 2 Zulu Echo, as well as Golf Bravo 1002 Zulu Echo, respectively, will be operating from December 1st through December 28th. Now, volunteers are sought for this. They need some help. So if you're interested in helping out with this very, very special event, please go on to QRZ, hit up Golf Mike 0 Delta Echo Quebec. His email's right there. Just email him and he'll help you out, okay? The sun, here's what it looks like right now. You can see the solar spots right there, and there's not many of them, and that's the reason why we kind of have a little problem here today with a whole little low, and I would say very low, sunspot number, but we'll get to that. The aurora is very, very faint. See that? There's the northern, so that's the aurora borealis right now. Very small. Cannot work it today. If you're in the south, the aurora australis, very, very small as well. Just because our K index is very, very low. Take a look. Here's the K index over the last 3 days. See, we had a spike there early on the 12th. Then everything quieted down. It kind of came up a little bit on the 13th. And look at it since. It's just very, very low at K1, which means excellent, excellent conditions. So that's the reason why we're in really, really good shape. Solar news, no solar flares appear to be coming our way. The one that was expected last week did not have a solar flare, so we're good. Current conditions, we got a 78 SFI. Notice the solar number says 0. Okay, the actual number figure is 33. So we basically, the math figures out to 33 sunspots now. So we need a little more than that to get going, but at least we got a 78. A index is right there at the top at 10. We don't like it to be above that, so we're okay at 10. K index at 1. That's brilliant. That's really, really good, because that means the bands are quiet. When you have a K index of 0 or 1, you're going to have very quiet conditions. Also, take a look at 6 and 4 meters as well as 2 meters today. And we'll talk about some noise floors around the world here. We'll start over here in Hawaii today. 40 meters is S3, 20 is S2, and this is repeatable most of the world. It's really stable today. Up through Canada, 40 is S3, 20, a little quieter at S2. In North America, here in the United States, 40 meters is S3, and it's S3 as well. And 20, go to South America, S3 on 40, S2 on 20 out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. In Argentina, out of Buenos Aires, 40 meters is an S3, 20 is an S2. Head over to Great Britain. In the UK, we've got an S3 at 40, an S3 on 20. In Germany, out of Hamburg, we've got an S3 on 40, S2 on 20. No report today, again, out of South Africa. In Asia, Russia with an S3 40, S3 20. Out of Hong Kong, S3 on 40, S3 on 20. A little noisier in that area. Japan is S3 40, S3 20. Down under in Australia, 40 meters S2, 20 meters S2. Look how quiet it is. 40 meters S3 in New Zealand, and 20 is an S1. Brilliant conditions. Maximum usable frequency. This is current as of now. Athens, Greece, and this is a good look at what might be happening tonight, because take a look at the MUF. It's 13.36. So that's just below 20 meters. Well, it's possible maybe 20 might be a little bit hard tonight. So keep that in mind. Take a look at it around sunset, see if it's working, and work it as long as you can. Right now, it looks as though 20 might dip. I did hear a lot of signals on the Russian SDRs. However, that's pretty low for them right now. Nive Island, 25.10. Darwin is 11.7, but it'll drop a little more, and it'll bounce right back up when the sun comes up. In North America, we've got a 16.06 in Boulder and a 16.69 in Alaska. The Ham daytime band forecast for today, very similar to yesterday. 20 and 17s wide open, E-skip openings on 10, as well as 4 meters in the UK, 6 meters in the US, and 2 meters in the US too. Perfect timing for VHF field day for the end of it. You also have CW data wide open on 160 to 4. Just keep in mind lots of noise on the lower bands. Ham nighttime frequencies, 160, 75, and 80, 60, 40, and they'll be loud. There's a lot of noise, especially 80, 75, even 40. A ton of static crashes, which is typical for this time of year because it's summertime and we get a lot of weather activity, okay? Also, 30 meters, 90% chance of SSB conditions on 20 meters. I don't know if it's going to last around till midnight. I kept it up there because it could, but I would say the chance of that might be that the chance of it will be happening, but it will be weak signals by midnight, okay? Shortwave bands today, 31, 25, 22, 19, and 16 meters. Tonight on the shortwave bands, 120, 90, 75, 60, 41, 31, 22, and 19 meters. You should get 19 till just after sunset. Hopefully it hangs out there for you a little while. And keep in mind, 49, which is the bread and butter shortwave band, is going to be noisy today, okay? Hey, we got a question for today for Sundays. You know, we do the questions on Sunday. And it's one I've asked everybody, usually when I make a QSO. I'd like to ask you now. What do you like most about ham or shortwave radio? What is it? What's the thing that you love about ham or shortwave radio? Hit up in the comment section, and we'll catch up with your comments before we show the thing on the history of ham call signs. It's brilliant. It is so well done. James Stanley, my goodness gracious, it's so great to see you. I am thrilled. This has been a long time. He is here, live. Jim, his call sign, Mike 7, Bravo X-Ray Tango, and notice he's got the little knock there for the little note there for the dog. Yeah, he's got a little dog there. So when we ever have James here, the station manager is also here. The station message call sign is Mike 7 Bravo X-ray Tango / K9. Okay? Yeah, K9. So that's James and Monty. Good to have you guys both here today. Welcome to the show. Gosh, it's great to see you guys. That's pretty sweet. Welcome back. Good to see you, buddy, as always. Wow. All right, and Tom is here. Like button smashed by my QTH 73. Tom, it's so late. My goodness. Thank you for coming. Oh, man. That's amazing because Tom lives in Bahrain. So right now it's after 2 a.m. Tom, thank you for stopping by. It's really good to see you. It really is. Get some rest, man. My goodness gracious. We're going to have a real fun show today. Again, topic question. What's the thing you really love about ham or shortwave? Mine's I got one for both, okay? Shortwave, during the Cold War, I loved to listen to both sides of the story. It was kind of weird, but I loved to hear both sides. You would hear some of it from, Radio Moscow, or, you'd hear it from East Germany, things like that. Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, all of that. And then, you'd hear, Voice of America, Radio Free Europe, BBC. It was interesting to just kind of listen to that when I was younger. I enjoyed that a lot. Ham radio, for me, it still is. The very first time I contacted a VK station, I was ecstatic. I was so thrilled. It really was. It was the magic of radio. It was just the magic of radio. It was, I guess, for me personally, it was just the feeling of satisfaction that the stuff that I put together worked. And I was so grateful. I was just so happy to work that far. Ham radio is still magical to me. It is. It's not changed since I got my license. And I'm newly licensed. You guys all know that. I'm not shy to tell you that. I'm newly licensed, but not new to radio, that's for sure. But I'll tell you, the magic and the joy has never left. What about you? What is the thing that really gets you excited about radio? Whatever it is. Could be shortwave. It could be ham. What is it about radio? Maybe CB. We did something on CB yesterday. By the way, the segment coming up on the history of call signs. Fascinating. That man is brilliant. He is so good. And we'll give him credit in the comment section. Really, you're going to like this. This is really, really cool. I think of all the things that I've shown you of other people's work on YouTube, we do little segments to help to educate folks. This is top 3. Absolutely top 3. It's really, really well done. All right. Let's see. Joe, last couple of days, I'm sorry, what do you say? There's a very light, high-pitched tone in your audio. Seems like you mentioned it before. It might, hold on a second, hold on. I think that fixed it. It was the EQ. The EQ was out. Oh my gosh. Joe, you're my best friend. Thanks for sharing that, man. I'm glad you said something. Thank you. The EQ is completely off. There you go. All right. So what is it? Tom in Bahrain. I love this. Look at Tom's answer. This is great. The challenge and the mystery of high frequency, new and unusual contacts. Yeah, that's a really cool thing, isn't it? It's just special. Especially, one of the cool things, Tom, I think, is like when you get a call, right? And you don't know the prefix. You're like, oh my gosh, what's that prefix? And you're taking a look and you're going, oh man, this is a long ways away. And then you're just jumping for joy when you get it. It's really cool. That's a great comment. I like that. Tom is from Bahrain. He has 2 call signs. One in the U.S., Alpha Echo 1 Tango Papa, and in Bahrain, Alpha 92 Golf Whiskey. Tom, thank you. That's great for the show and a really neat comment. Thanks, Tom. That's great. No flipping way. I have to tell you, this is a dear friend of mine. I'm serious. This is a dear friend of mine, Jason Duddington. My goodness. Duds, you still supply, you just totally surprised me because I had no idea you were here. I've known Jason for years personally. We're friends. Jason's like a son to me, really is. His comment, hi Larry and everyone else. I have dabbled with CB radios, but have always had interest in ham. Jason, buddy, come talk to me. Text me. Come here. Take a look. Use the radios, man. You're welcome here anytime. You just bring, your lovely wife and your kiddo. It'd be great to have you over. And I still have, by the way, your kiddo's pictures on my refrigerator. Thank you. Yep. Yep, little M isn't so small anymore, is she? She's gotten pretty tall. What a that's an honor to see you, Jason. Thanks for coming today. Gunter from Germany, DK50NV. Most exciting thing about ham radio to me is to build my own antennas and learning so much while doing the whole process. Yes, that's great stuff. You know, when it works, when you build it yourself and it works, it's such a feeling of accomplishment. Gunter, thank you for that. That's brilliant. And I think that's a really good point. Building your own antennas. Absolutely. I have the book here, but with the shack completely messed up right now for the computer change. Yeah, there you go. So thanks, Gunter. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's really pretty cool to have that. So that's nice. Let's see here. Hey, we've got a new one. K4 November Yankee X-Ray. Thanks for coming. Chasing DX. You and me are brothers right there. Absolutely. DX is my favorite. Now, Jason, you may not know that. DX is long distance. We did a show yesterday. Jason, if you look at yesterday's show, it was about CB. This is so weird, the timing, because I talked about CB and that you can make long distance calls on if you have a CB that has upper and lower sideband. Because what it does, it takes your CB radio that's at 4 watts when you're usually transmitting on it, and it'll give you 12 watts. Doesn't seem like much. But there are people who've contacted other continents on just 12 watts. So it's really cool. DX, when you work other countries, is special. And you can do it on your CB radio, too. You really can. CB is like 11 meters within the HF spectrum. And the ham bands end at 10 meters. So it's just above, within like 500 kilohertz. So it's really, really close. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Sean, Alpha Echo 1, Echo Quebec, Alpha Echo 7, Echo Quebec, out of Central Oregon. Best thing about ham radio is I've never gotten bored with it. There are so many different facets. Look at this. There's so many different facets. And when I get tired of one, there's a new one waiting for me to learn and try. Yeah, from, picking up your microphone to sending pictures to contacting the International Space Station to, sending text messages to somebody, halfway around the world to working in FT8 and just compute, your computer and your transmitter to someone else's computer and transmitter that is so far away that you can't make the call with a microphone. And it's below the noise floor. So it's lower than the static. And I know, Sean, you're really good at doing FT8. By the way, there's the new format Q65. We talked about that today, too. There's a brand new one, Q65. It's updated now from WJST. So that'd be pretty cool. And that's neat. I think that's pretty cool. So Jason, gosh, what a treat it is to have you, man. You made my day. I mean that. Gunter here, worked a new country, 5 Zulu 4 Victor Juliet, Kenya, with his brand new antenna. Gunter, you're a stud, dude. Way to go, man. Wow. James Stanley from the UK, every QSO, which means contact, is an adventure. His call sign, Mike 7, Bravo X-Ray Tango. Don't forget Monty. He's Mike 7, Bravo X-Ray Tango /K and 9. All right. Thanks, buddy. Let's see. And this is kind of like, I think, a lot of us here. This is a great comment. K4 November Yankee X-Ray Radio. I came from CB. Once I got Australia, okay, from Florida. Look at this. Australia from Florida. I studied for my license, 12 watts at a vertical. That's exactly it. Jason, that's what I was talking about. Look at that. From Florida all the way to Australia on a CB radio. You can do it. Most of the time it's on like channel 38, channel 39, channel 40. Those are the ones that work international DX. But you should try it, man, because right now 6 meter E-skip is open, which means that 10 would be open, which means that 11 would be open. That means CB could make long calls today. You really could. So that's a really good point. Thanks for joining the show, by the way. I appreciate that. What's your name, by the way? K4NYX. I could look on QRZ, but just be nice to say hi. Sean Casey. I like it because it has helped me learn about radios, which benefits the guys I work with. That's pretty cool. And what's the way I love about this? Sean wants to be a ham. Okay, this is from somebody who wants to be a ham radio operator. That's really cool. I want to put your comment up a second time, Sean, because it's really important. I like it because it has helped me learn about radios, which benefits the guys he works with. Now, wow. I mean, not only is that good for him, but good for the folks he works with as well. And Sean is studying to become a ham. Sean, you're going to do it. I know you are. You're going to do it. You're going to join us. Dude, we're going to make a contact. I'm so excited for that. I truly am. I want to show you a video that is so well done, guys. Look, before I put these videos on, I always let the producer know I'm doing it. That's number one. The second thing is it's very rare for me to ever watch a video twice. Very rare. Why? This one I watched twice. I hope you like it. This is the history of ham radio call signs as well as the history of ham radio licensing here in the United States. I hope you enjoy this. To me, this was absolutely brilliantly done by this guy, and I give him a lot of credit. Take a look at this. It is doggone good. Oh, by the way, Mike, we spoke about the MFJ 2286 antennas. When you look at my QRZ page, you remember. Thanks, Mike. It's good to see you again. Sorry about that. Sometimes it gets hard to remember everybody. Mike, thank you. Thanks a lot. It's good to see you. Watch this next segment. You'll love it. This is the history of ham radio, literally, with call signs and licensing from the very beginning. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Robert Cain, N4IXT. In this presentation, we'll take a look at the history of amateur radio licensing in the United States. I've been an amateur radio operator since 1999 and currently hold an amateur extra class license. Professionally, I'm the owner of Arcane Training and Consulting, working as a trainer in the Microsoft IT space. Check out arcanecode.com/info for more information. In the very earliest days of radio, no license was required in order to operate. Operators simply picked their own call sign when they even bothered with a call sign at all. At the time, the range of an average radio was roughly 100 miles. Thus, this wasn't that big of a deal, at least in the beginning. As the technology got better, though, interference started becoming more and more of an issue. So much so that the United States Navy went to Congress demanding some type of action be taken in order to reduce interference. The Radio Act of 1912 was passed, introducing the first attempt to organize the airwaves. The management of the radio spectrum was initially handled by the Department of Commerce. This image depicts an amateur radio operator license from 1921. Initially, there were two license classes, amateur first grade and amateur second grade. To receive an amateur first grade license, you had to go to a Department of Commerce office and take a written test, plus a 5-word per minute code test. In 1919, this was upgraded to 10 words per minute. In the early 1900s, travel was still difficult for many Americans. Unlike today, very few households owned a car. Even for those who did, the average national speed limit was 25 miles an hour. The Department of Commerce recognized that not everyone could simply hop in a car and drive down to a Department of Commerce office. Thus, they created the amateur second grade license. In order to qualify, you had to live over 125 miles from a testing center. You would then simply self-certify that you can meet the requirements for a first grade operator. The operating privileges for both licenses was identical, and both expired in 5 years. The only difference was the manner in which they received their license. When World War I began in 1914, amateur radio operators in the United States were forbidden from communicating with countries at war, which pretty much meant all of Europe. Hams contented themselves with communicating with each other, mostly in the U.S. When the United States entered the war in 1917, all amateur radio licenses were suspended. Hams were ordered to take down their antennas and box up their radios. Many amateur radio operators assisted in the war effort. They operated radios in the military, for the government stateside, or for various emergency services groups. All stateside operation was closely managed by the government. After the war ended in 1918, hams assumed they would be getting back on the air quickly. During the war, control of the radio airwaves was transferred to the U.S. Navy. After the war, the Secretary of the Navy made it quite clear he had no intention of returning those airwaves back to amateur radio operators. This is where we owe a great debt of gratitude to the Amateur Radio Relay League. This group began a letter-writing campaign as well as generating a public outcry to have the frequencies restored. In addition, they began a lobbying campaign in Congress. As a result, in 1919, Congress passed an act ordering the Secretary of the Navy to restore all operating rights to amateurs immediately. For a brief time, there was an interest in operating on wavelengths longer than 200 meters. Existing licenses did not allow operating on those frequencies. Thus, in 1923, the Department of Commerce created a new license to allow people to operate on frequencies above 200 meters. But what to call it? Since the top level class at the time was amateur first grade, to go up from there, you had to get extra first class. Thus, it was officially named Amateur Extra First Class. This is where the title of Amateur Extra that many of us have on our licenses today originated. On the slide, you can see an example of an Amateur Extra First Grade license from 1932. In order to have qualified for an Amateur Extra First Grade license, the applicant must have held an Amateur First Grade license for 2 or more years. They must have passed a written test, as well as a 20-word per minute code test. This new license provided Morse code privileges to wavelengths longer than 200 meters. Very quickly, though, interest shifted to wavelengths shorter than 200 meters. In 1926, only 6 of these licenses were issued. Thus, new licenses were discontinued in 1927, although existing licenses, such as the one to the left, could still be renewed. The next change to amateur radio occurred with the Radio Act of 1927. This act created a new Federal Radio Division, which now had authority over the radio spectrum. The new Radio Division, though, was still managed by the Department of Commerce. As part of this act, Amateur First Grade was renamed to simply Amateur Class. Amateur Second Grade was renamed to Temporary Amateur. Additionally, the temporary amateur license now expired in 1 year, and after 1932, it could not be renewed. In 1932, Congress created the Federal Radio Commission. This new commission existed as an entity independent from the Department of Commerce. What had been Department of Commerce Radio Division was now merged into the new Federal Radio Commission. At the bottom, you'll see an enlargement of the license from 2 slides ago. This license was a renewal that was issued in 1932. At that time, the new Federal Radio Commission had not yet had time to print out new forms. Although it's a little hard to see, you'll note that somebody has marked out Department of Commerce Radio Division with blue ink, and above it typed in the words Federal Radio Division. In 1933, the new Federal Radio Commission created 3 new license classes, A, B, and C. Anyone who had held an Amateur Extra First Grade license automatically became a Class A license. Amateur operators were given a Class B license. To get a new Class B license, an applicant had to go to a Federal Radio Commission office and take the exam. Class C licenses were for people who lived more than 125 miles from an FRC office. These exams were given by existing amateur radio operators who held either a Class A or a Class B license. Here you can see the initial genesis of the Volunteer Examiner Program. Because the temporary amateur licenses had expired in 1932, anyone who had held that license simply had to retest. All 3 license classes required code tests. Initially, this was set at 10 words per minute. In 1936, it was boosted to 13 words per minute. A Class A license granted exclusive phone privileges on 20 and 75 meters. The license required 1 year of previous experience plus a written exam. For Class B and C, there were also written tests. They had no phone privileges, but otherwise had the same permissions as a Class A license. At this point, another change took place. Previously, radio operator and radio station licenses were 2 different licenses. At this point, they became the same license, just as it is today. In 1934, the Federal Radio Commission was renamed the Federal Communications Commission. As far as the amateur radio community was concerned, There were no other changes that occurred as a result of this new name. On this slide is an example of an FCC-issued license from 1939. At the outbreak of World War II, the FCC officially canceled all amateur radio licenses, as you can see from the official notice on the left. Many amateur radio operators served in civilian roles for various civil defense organizations. Additionally, many joined the armed forces, serving as radio operators. It is estimated that more than half the licensed radio operators volunteered to serve in some capacity during World War II. After the war ended, the FCC quickly began to reissue licenses. Although no changes occurred to the ABC license structure, as a result of post-war negotiations between countries, some changes to the pre-war frequency permissions did occur at this time. The next great shakeup occurred in 1951. The previous license classes of A, B, and C were retired. These were replaced by new classes, many of which would sound familiar today: Novice, Technician, General, Conditional, Advanced, and Amateur Extra. With the exception of Novice, licenses were issued for a period of 5 years. Novices held an expiration date of 1 year. The Novice license required a 5-word per minute code test plus a written test. Initially, the license was valid for a period of 1 year. In 1964, this was extended to 2 years. In 1978, this period was extended to 5 years, the same as the other licenses. Novices were limited to 75 watts maximum power. They had Morse code privileges on 80, 40, and 15 meters. They received both code and voice privileges on the 145 to 147 megahertz band. The Technician class required a 5-word per minute code test. In addition, they took the General class written exam. This granted them the same permissions as a General class in the 50 megahertz band. They also received both voice and code privileges in the 145 to 147 megahertz band. Finally, they had all rights above 220 megahertz. Interestingly, until the late 1960s, a ham radio operator could actually hold 2 licenses. They could hold both the Technician and the Novice and have 2 different call signs. The General class required a 13-word per minute code test as well as a written test. This granted them full privileges on all bands. All Class B operators became generals. All Class C operators were granted the conditional license. New Class C applicants also took a 13-word per minute code test plus the general exam. However, the test was administered by another general class or higher ham radio operator instead of going to the FCC office. In addition, the FCC reduced the distance requirement from 125 to 75 miles. While travel was certainly easier in 1951 than it had been in 1921, it could still be problematic. Most families only owned at most a single vehicle, and with the exception of large cities, most of the population was still fairly well spread out. A conditional license granted full privileges on all bands. In addition, this marked the unofficial beginning of volunteer examiners. Class A operators were placed into the Advanced class. New Advanced class licenses were not issued from 1951 to 1967. The only way to get an Advanced license was to have been migrated from a Class A. After 1967, an operator could upgrade from General to Advanced by taking a written test. The Advanced license granted full privileges on all bands. To become an Amateur Extra, a 20-word per minute code test was required, plus a written exam. Amateur Extras had full privileges on all bands. The next big change to amateur radio occurred in 1964 with the move to incentive licensing. Prior to 1964, General, Conditional, Advanced, and Amateur Extra all had the exact same rights on all the bands. The Advanced and Amateur Extra licenses were essentially nothing more than bragging rights. As a result, the majority of hams stopped once they got either their general or conditional license. The FCC wanted to encourage hams to evolve their skills to the higher class levels, thus the move to incentive licensing. This did require the removal of some privileges from the general, conditional, and advanced classes who understandably weren't happy about it. By 1967, the FCC decided the requirement to take your exam at an FCC office was no longer an impediment to getting your license. Thus, they retired the conditional license, and upon renewal, an existing conditional license holder became a general. The next change to amateur radio licensing did not occur for 23 years. The technician license was revamped in 1990. The biggest change was the removal of the Morse code requirement. This is the very first license since licensing began in 1912 to not require a Morse code test. A technician was granted all modes and bands above 50 MHz. In addition, if the technician passed any code test, they were granted the same HF privileges that a novice had. This did cause some confusion, as if a technician was operating in the novice bands, there was no easy way to identify that they had indeed passed their code test. In 1994, the FCC started labeling these as Technician Plus in order to reduce confusion. Fast forward a decade to the restructuring of the year 2000. The FCC reduced the number of license classes to 3: Tech, General, and Extra. Existing Advanced, Tech Plus, and Novice licenses could still be renewed, but were not being issued. Additionally, only one Morse code test was now required. To get a general class license, an applicant only needed to take a 5-word per minute code test. The restructuring also allowed for an advanced class to be able to administer a general class exam. Prior to 1987, a technician needed to take a general exam plus the 5-word per minute code test. Thus, any pre-1987 technician could now become a general class just by filling out some paperwork. Novice licenses, whether current or expired, could be used as credit toward the 5-word per minute requirement. In 2006, the FCC made their next big change, an event many operators at the time called the end of Morse code. In the year 2003, the International Telecommunications Union removed the requirement to demonstrate Morse code proficiency in order to operate on frequencies that were below 30 MHz. The ITU is the organization that sets rules for radio operations between countries. In 2006, the FCC dropped the Morse code test requirement, becoming effective on February 23, 2007. On that date, all technicians became Tech Plus automatically. Despite cries at the time this would kill Morse code, it still remains a popular mode today. This brings us up to the present day. Only 3 license classes are currently being issued: Technician, General, and Amateur Extra. Existing novice or advanced licenses can be renewed. Finally, all licenses only require a written test. There is no more Morse code testing required. On this slide, I have provided links to some of the resources that were used in building this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at n4ixt@outlook.com or contact me via Twitter at n4ixt. This presentation can be found on my GitHub site. You'll find links to GitHub plus my other training materials on my information page, http://arcanecode.com/info. Thanks for watching, and 73s.
I'd like to thank Robert Cain for that great video. That was just so well done. And excuse the mic here, I'm trying to get that I'm getting used to this here with the mic position. Robert, that's a big clap. Good job, man. That's a great one. You did good. You did good, mate. That was a good video. Yeah. The history of ham radio, and it's interesting, how we started, right? We started with, our made-up call signs, just like CB does now, but it's different, right? Things are different. So that's the way it is. Oh, my goodness gracious. But, we gotta do this because it's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. We now have Fourth Continent in the house here at this moment, and because of that, we want to celebrate. Glenn Stevenson from Australia, Victor Kilo 2, Golf Sierra Tango is here. Mate, it's great to see you, my friend. I hope your father's doing well. I sincerely mean that. Glenn, thank you so much for coming from Australia today. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I like that one. Thank you. That's nice. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's neat to do that. I loved that video. I really did. And I told the guy that made it, I told Bob that I really liked it. Bob Cole, good guy, man. Brilliant. Those are guys that are brilliant that you wish you could be like them. Robert Cain, he's out of Alabama. Does a great job. Robert, again, thank you for the video. Find him. I'll have his YouTube channel as well in the description. A guy that does a video that good, you have to give him some good credit. So, Robert, thank you again. Yeah. We've got Whiskey 6, Julie, India Mike here from Walnut Creek, California. Jim's great to see you. How'd the CW thing go? Did it go good? Did Sprint go good on Morse code? Jim is one of the best at Morse code. We've got some people here, by the way, who are very huge established ham radio operators. You all are. You really all are. I don't want to put anybody down or make anybody feel bad. But here's Jim, excellent at CW. Here's Kevin, one of the best DXers in the world, as well as Gunter. Gunter, these guys are all the same. Tom in Bahrain. Tom is one of the best DXers there is in the world as well. Tom is amazing. I mean, the people that are here, if you have questions, keep them in the comment section. Keep doing it. It's important to do. I want to remind you, Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, Rob Sherwood, NCOB, will join us here talking about receiver performance, and we're going to celebrate his life and career. I think it's important. What Rob has done for amateur radio is phenomenal, and he's approaching his 50th year doing this. No joke, 50 years. So we look forward to welcoming Rob to the program here on Thursday. That will be the end of this one. I do want to say thank you to all of you, wherever you may be around the world today. This is show number 226 of Ham Radio Live. And, I found out through that video that I made my goal. Remember, I told you I didn't know they took CW out because I couldn't learn Morse code. My Morse code records from the ARL became Frisbees. They shattered against my bedroom wall. I give it up. And so I didn't realize, I thought it was 2001, and I found out it was 2006. So this channel has helped more people. I wanted the channel to get at least licenses or license ups for at least the amount of people I thought, which was 19 of the years I missed that I didn't know CW was out because I'm dyslexic on code. And by the grace of God, I found out it was 2006, and we've exceeded that number. So now everything here is icing on the cake, truly. I mean that. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to finish with a sign-off all the way from South Africa, and I'm looking forward to showing it to you. Yeah, Jim, please be here for that. I'll be at 1:30 our time for that. And whatever question you have, current, older receiver, right? He's done it. He's tested it. It's going to be great. And Rob seems like such a nice guy. He'll be really nice to have on the show. Please join us, won't you, at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. I believe that is going to be, 20:30 UTC. So it should be around 20:30 UTC, at least by what I have here on that. So, yeah. We'll get you on the show, and hopefully, make sure you have your questions ready for Rob, because Rob is going to be very, very good to answer those questions. My name is Larry. My call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. If you'd like to get an amateur radio, great way to do so. Boy, I popped on the screen there fast. Sorry about that. Woo! Get in touch with the American Radio Relay League at www.arl.org. A great place to get in touch with an amateur radio group. Just hit the Contact Us bar, okay? In Great Britain, the Radio Society of Great Britain can be found at www.rsgb.org. Again, hit the Contact Us bar and fill it out. Tell them where you are, and they'll help you find a radio club near you. That's the key. Finally, if you're in Australia, feel free, please contact the Australian group that is so big. It really is. And people in Australia, I don't think they get enough credit for what they do down there. I love Aussie QSOs. Aussie QSOs are the greatest QSOs listener because they're like, I don't know, mate. Yeah, I'm trying to do this right now, but we're trying to be up, and it's just, they're fun to listen to. I love Australia. I'm very fond of Australia because that's what I wanted to reach, Australia and UK. I've got Australia. I still don't have UK. We'll work on that. If you're in Australia, I'm trying to say, contact the Wireless Institute of Australia. Contact us, link at www.wia.org. My name's Larry. My call sign's Kilo 7 Hotel November. Thanks for watching. It's been an honor and privilege to do the show for you today. I appreciate that. Dogs are running around the floor here, and Miley surgery is July 2nd. So we will certainly be praying for her pretty hard. This can be pretty tough. So Miley goes in for surgery on July 2nd. Thank you for watching. Until tomorrow, 20 UTC. My name's Larry. Call signs Kilo 7 Hotel November. I don't monetize the channel. I ask you subscribe. It helps people find it here on YouTube. Until next time, God bless you. Thanks for watching YouTube's Ham Radio Live. Goodbye, everybody.
That's all, folks.